Water, essential for life, essential for my life. And nothing puts you closer to the water than sailing. Nothing gives you the feeling of the power of the wind and the sea. Sailing on big boats, sailing on small boats, sailing with friends, or sailing alone. Being out there gives you the peace of mind to focus on what's important to you. Hi, my name is Terry, and this is my journey to return to the sea and a sailing life and a life aboard. As an adult, I started racing on weekends with a crew. I'd arrive at the marina early just to look at the boats and dream. Nothing is better and more soul-satisfying than seeing the sails full and feel the power of the wind as you move through the water. And the reward of a sunshine glint on that water is an amazing feeling. I decided I couldn't let another sun set on my not finding a boat of my own. And I found her nearly in my own backyard after looking all around the country. A 1964 Chris Craft sail yacht in desperate need of love and attention. The owner was very kind in telling me that we had all the equipment we needed. We had many sails in good condition, and everything was ready to go. The galley was a little lacking, but I intended to spend my time at the helm and sailing. And when we got her home, the truth always reveals itself afterwards. The 1964 boat was in need of desperate attention. The windows either didn't open or wouldn't close. The mahogany sides of the cabin top were cracked. It wasn't just varnish, it was cracked wood all the way through. She has a fiberglass cabin top and a fiberglass hull and deck. And the mahogany trim is what held it together. So we began a process of drying the boat out from the outside in. Even the propane tank, when I took the cover off, the bottom dropped out. The dinghy davits were great though. And then we have the Hercules B engine, who got us home and then died shortly afterwards. I had lots of great help on my journey, but into every sailor's life, a little rain falls, and when that engine died, I enlisted the aid of a good friend, and we borrowed an outboard engine and strapped it on the back and brought her down to his home port and began the revitalization of a bird. Rebirth of a bird, I call it. Starting with a marinized, rebuilt Mercedes engine, which is the powerhouse of our ability to get around. And then we started just stripping and ripping all the old, wet, gnarly stuff away. I don't know how many garbage cans we filled, and how many hours, actually 2 years of day in, day out work, taking breaks to sail. The mahogany was the core of it and our bane. It continued to crack even after we replaced the wet wood. The molding was aluminum 1-inch, and we replaced it all with a 2-inch mahogany strip. The hatch cover was full of rats, so we refitted one out of marine grade plywood. We covered the forward and aft port lights with Lexan and caulked and screwed them down because those were a huge leaking source, as were the handrails on the top of the forward and aft cabins. There was no safety ladder, so we designed one out of stainless steel fittings and pipes so that it would match the angle of the transom. We painted that hatch, and it works beautifully now. Acts as a wind scoop We have a chain to hold it down and a bungee cord to keep it from ripping too far open. But the mahogany sides of the cabin were our biggest problem, constantly filling and epoxying cracks and leaks. So we continued to work on the boat, continued to sail the boat, fighting the need to have to cover that mahogany because it's so beautiful. The boom crutch, which fell off in our initial journey, we were able to repair and replace. The original teak was in good shape underneath. But we finally bit the bullet and covered the cabin sides with an epoxy paint to protect it from the sun. We replaced the little eyelids where we put new Wiley ports in place of the old aluminum ports. And everything looked like she was shipshape and ready to go. We enjoyed sailing her on many, many days in the process of doing the work. The old cabin door, we replaced the screen with a Lexan panel because we usually keep that door open. And there's the aft port lights covered with plexiglass and caulked and painted and sealed in place. After all the upper deck was done, we turned our attention to the hull, choosing a Fighting Lady yellow color. It seemed appropriate because my father's boats were Yellowbird 1, Yellowbird 2, Yellowbird 3. And with this beautiful new paint and this beautiful color, we chose a new name fitting. Our Yellowbird, our home. The next big chore, besides sailing at every occasion, was to go to the yard. We had replaced all the rigging because the forestay snapped during one of our sailing adventures. So we have all new rigging and off to the yard. We had just a minimum of blisters that were easy to remove and repair and glass over. We got the bottom painted and away we went, home again to work on the insides. Our first project was the galley, since food is essential, and we gutted out the galley area. That's part of the ice box, which was delaminated and molded. We formed a new ice box out of 4-inch foam and glassed it in. We reused all the old sink, basin, and fittings that we could. We replaced the cabin top there. Instead of the Formica, we put cherry, which was beautiful. We put teak paneling on the front of the galley and in many areas in the inside of the cabin. Used the original doors and hardware and made a beautiful serviceable galley. There's our Wiley port above the window there, above the sink. The inside of the cabin, the mast, deck step mast, was supported by a stainless steel compression tube, which we were concerned would fail. So we put a steel pipe around it and then enclosed it in an oak box as we were doing the inside of the cabin, just for security. The settee sides were paneled, we paneled them, and redid the teak trim. We reused the old cabin doors and closed in the ports with the bunks on the upper sides for storage. So we have lots of storage for food and supplies. Got new cushions, made a new table out of the old head door, since we decided not to use a door on our head. That table's removable and stores on the starboard side. There's our head. All the light fixture was removed, the plumbing was removed. We did reuse the old faucets because they're all chrome-plated bronze from the era, but the vanity and the toilet and everything was corroded and rotten and leaked and just a mess. The shower pan was cracked and warped and leaked. We fiberglassed in and epoxy painted the entire head. Added a new electric head and new cabinet doors out of fiberboard that was painted and epoxied. And we closed it all in with a lovely screen to keep out the marine insects. Then we turned our attention to the aft cabin. It has 2 double bunks and it had cabinets and storage that we totally tore out. We tore out the subfloor and epoxy painted the sole, eventually put carpet over it. Those were some drawers that impeded the space we have in the lazarette. It was a little stale back there, so we added 2 5-inch ports up high and a larger rectangular port at the helmsman's feet for circulation. And we have 2 lovely bunks. The old commode sink fixture in between the bunks is now storage. And we have storage on either side between the hull and the cabin side. Another new custom fitted screen to keep out those marine insects. On the aft cabin had a slide hatch with a flap that closes. We got new anchors, a Rockna, and used the old Danforth as a backup. We got a new dinghy, our tender to the Yellowbird. The dinghy davits were sandblasted and left in their aluminum state, and they work well. We added a solar panel, and the barbecue survived. We added a solar panel for our power needs. And there she is, we think a complete picture, but we all know that nothing's ever done. So as we're sailing and enjoying ourselves, we realize that the rudder is just not right. It has too much play in it. So we go back to the yard. We remove those silicone bronze bolts from the shoe that holds, the bronze shoe that holds the rudder to the keel. The shoe was oxidized and falling apart. Probably natural since it was 1960 something built. The keel and then the rudder post on the keel were in good condition. So we had another shoe made out of bronze, attached it and repainted and splashed back in the water for more adventures. We love sailing in Charlotte Harbor. Our goal is to sail more places than that. This is No Name Harbor in Biscayne Bay. And this is our girl at rest. This is Captain John Foster, my partner who rebuilt the entire boat. And this is me, the GoPro granny now. Every future episodes will be in video of our daily life here on the boat. So just as the sunset urged me to get a boat, don't let another sunset fall on your dreams. Dreams are beautiful, and they're what we have. Every day new. So cheers to the sailing. Enjoy your life. Take a deep breath. De-stress. Future episodes will be in video. So this is me getting ready for videos. Set your sails. Kick back. And if you like my daily shows, subscribe to this. And I'll continue to produce tips and tricks of living aboard. Enjoy.